With more tariff news, stock market moving heavily. Today, we're going to be telling you guys all the news and everything you need to know about the stock market. To start, we're going to be looking at the stock heat map. With that being said, we do got a lot of stocks in the red today compared to what we seen yesterday. With that being said, we got Amazon down 5%, Tesla down 3%. We got some decent news with Tesla, not decent, but bad news with Tesla that's making it look very, very bearish. But with that being said, you already know what happens with bad news stocks. They drop and then we can find a bottom and it can rise a lot. And especially with Tesla, Tesla can rise a lot. So we're going to be talking about a bottom point and maybe one like a stopping point for Tesla and a possibility of getting in and when to get in. So we're going to be talking about that a little bit later when we get to the charts. Microsoft down 2%, 3% on Google, down 3% on Apple. And then we got Nvidia looking decent, but not kind of losing momentum from yesterday, what we had yesterday. But with that being said, let's look at the weekly since it's Friday. Happy Friday, by the way. Comment down below how much money you guys made and your goal for next week and your plans for the weekend. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. With that being said, for the overall week, we have Meta up 3%, Nvidia up 5%, which is decent. Some other stocks up. But with that being said, let's go look at some news and stuff like that. So with that being said, Friday we had notable declines due to a combination of economic data and some concerns about like policies and stuff like that. But with that being said, we had SPY decrease by 0.9%, almost 1% down. Dow Jones, fell by 1%. The Nasdaq dropped about 1.4%, which is bigger drops than the yesterday and I think the day before. But with that being said, key factors that influenced the market: employment data came in and they added 143,000 jobs below the anticipated 168,000 through unemployment rate decreased to 4%. Inflation concerns. So we got some inflation concerns. Report from the University of Michigan indicated that consumers expected inflation to rise to 4.3%, the highest since 2023. Trade policy is kind of uncertain right now. President Trump signaled potential announcements on tariffs early next week. So they said either Monday or Friday or something like that. So keep that in mind. So basically, we had like a big sell off. We can show that a little bit later. But when that news came out, we had some other companies with earnings or other news or drops with earnings, especially one that I kind of thought was going to drop. But with that being said, we did have Christmas sales and stuff like that. But Amazon, they declined by 4.1% after the company provided a revenue forecast that fell short of analyst expectations. We also had Pinterest experience a 20% surge, which is good because with their strong revenue and user growth reports, we got ELF Beauty stock basically. They dropped over 25%, which they lowered their outlook due to their January sales. With that being said, 25% is insane. You can either see the stock continue going down or go up some more. But with that being said, we got a bunch of news today. It's insane. But you guys should monitor the following upcoming events, okay? So February 12th, Consumer Price Index, the CPI for January, providing insights into inflation trends. That's going to be something key to look at. Also, February 14th, retail sales data for January indicating consumer spending patterns, okay? Earning reports, we got February 12th, we got AppLovin is a scheduled to report earnings. We're expected to signal growth due to high demand for its AI-powered advertising tools. And we got February 13th, Airbnb and Coca-Cola will release their quarterly results, offering insights into the travel and consumer goods sector. And some political developments, potential announcements regarding U.S. trade tariffs, which could impact the global trade dynamics and market sentiment. So we got a bunch of things next week that will be moving the market. We will have another video updating you guys on Sunday before Monday to kind of get you guys ready for the market open. But with that being said, with all the news kind of overlooked, I want to talk about Tesla a little bit because we have been having some bad news. I think yesterday we got some bad news with Europe, and now we got some bad news with China that they're kind of losing their deliveries and stuff like that. And we did have Tesla drop once again. So just a rough week for Tesla, but maybe next week we can see Tesla come back up and maybe reach a bottom and we can start buying Tesla once again. God dang. But with that being said, we do got some oil doing decent. Top active stocks, we got Nvidia, we got Ford, of course, we had earnings recently. Palantir hit that 110 level. Palantir is just spiking, going to the moon. Rigetti, of course. But with that being said, let's go look at some of the charts to kind of tell you guys some price actions and things to look at. So the first stock that I really want to look at is the stock we were just talking about, and that is ELF Beauty. With that being said, we did just drop 25% like we said, but we did have kind of a rebound today, as you guys can see. But the rebound, man, we're going to need to fill some more gaps if you really want to get upwards. With that being said, a beauty stock, you got to understand what they do. But with that being said, we did have some highs of 135, and this is one that a lot of people buy in stores and stuff like that. So, it is a falling horse right now, but we did see it kind of rebound a little bit, have a little bit of a sell off and rebound again. Honestly, a good get in point is probably that $70 mark, honestly, or just wait and see where we're going because we might be on an upward trend. I'm not saying that's going to hit the old $80 level, but we might be able to see like 80 flat. But with that being said, this is probably a good long term stock to get into. But investors aren't really happy right now, so I might as well just tell you guys to wait. But I just wanted to show you guys this one if you guys want to play some option plays, make some quick cash because you might see it rebound a little bit more. But keep that one on your mind. What I want to talk about is NVIDIA. We have been pretty bullish with NVIDIA, as you guys can see for the past couple of days. We've been getting some good news with some chips, and the tariffs aren't really as bad as they used to be. And DeepSeek ain't really as big as it was. Like people aren't really underestimate or overestimating it. They kind of see where they're at, and they see that Nvidia is still going to benefit overall. But with that being said, for next week, I do recommend just waiting because we might get some bad news over the weekend, like we've been getting for the past 2 weeks. Maybe some some China tariffs that can really affect this stock because they make like 15% of the revenue in China, and or we might get some good news. You never know. But with that being said, for next week, I want to look at that 130 level. We bounced off of it a few times today. I did say that we were going to bounce off that 130 level yesterday, and look, we did, man. You guys got to believe me a little bit. But for next week, I do want to look at that 130 level once again. If we bounce past that 130 level, I want to look at 131, 132, 135 is going to be a key level. You might see it bounce off that 135. And then if we keep doing good, or the market looks good next week, which I highly doubt, we might get to that 150. But with that being said, to the downside, we might try and retest that 130 again and then go down and start dying. But that being said, I do want to look at that 128 level, 127, 125 is going to be key. 126 is also going to be key. Keep 126 on your mind, but 125 and then going down even more. So keep that on your mind for NVIDIA. That being said, depending on how the weekend goes, if we don't get any bad or good news, we could see SPY doing decent and or opening around this level. That being said, that is highly unlikely. We might get some news. So really just play based on news. That's kind of how SPY moves. But with that being said, to the upside, I look at the 601 level, 602, 603, 603, 604, 605. And then where we were at earlier today, which we did hit that almost at 608 level. And then we bounce when we get that bad tariff news. So keep that on your mind. It really moves with news. We can have like a constant upward trend, and then bad news can really just drag it back down. Like look at that, god dang. But keep that on your mind because we can really move a lot. I did indeed get into. I'm gonna tell you some of my plays, but I did get into a put option at around that 605 level for next week. So hopefully we can keep on going down a little bit more. That's why. I try to be biased, but you got into a put option, so I wanted to go down. That being said, to the downside, honestly, we're going to look at that 599 level, or we're going to start off with that 600 level, of course. And then if it bounces below that 600 level, 599, 598, 597, 595 is going to be key. 596 is also a key level. You might see a bounce off of that one also. But with that being said, 596 is key, and then 595, and then that 593 level. And of course, all the way down to that 590 level is key because you've seen it bounce off of the 590 and hold that 590. So keep that on your mind. Tesla, like I said before, Tesla this has been consistently dying with all the bad news we've been getting recently. So with that being said, I do want to see it kind of hit a bottom next week. But with that being said, we just got to stop getting this bad news. Honestly, I'm looking right now. I think Tesla is kind of like the new Apple, as you guys know. We did have some bearish momentum today, and we're kind of filling the gaps downwards with Apple. But with that being said, how you guys seen Apple a couple weeks ago? How we were just consistently falling on Apple because we just kept getting bad news after bad news after bad news. I think that's how Apple or Tesla can be, and then we can see it rebound finally. But that's just what I'm thinking right now. Like once we get good news again with Tesla, we can see it start coming back up and making a rebound. With that being said, some levels to look at with Tesla because we already broke that 360 level. We broke that 365 level I was talking about. So now we're down even lower. With that being said, we might try and retest that 360 level and then maybe bounce a little bit more downwards. But to the downside, I will look at that 357 level, 355, 353, and then that 350 level. And if we can keep on going down or keep on getting bad news that's fueling this downward momentum, man, the stock is just going to keep dying. And we're probably going to see it how we seen it a couple months ago, before the Trump rally, and see that thing down to the 280s. But honestly, it's highly unlikely. We're just getting some bad news. And then once we bounce off of that, we'll be good. That being said, to the upside, of course, that 360 level, that 365 level is going to be key. And then watch that 370 level. And after that 370 level, we can watch that 380 level once again. We had a big bounce off of that one yesterday or today, actually, which is crazy. We did have some good news. And then we were climbing up a decent amount, but then boom, just crashed down, and it was like, golly. That being said, Amazon is another one I want you guys to keep on your radar because honestly, Amazon, I mean, it's a good stock. Everybody uses Amazon. It just got some bad news, with their earnings. But with that being said, I'm kind of bullish on it, but at the same time, I'm going to be biased and give you guys both sides. So basically, I think it's going to go up. But with that being said, watch some key levels like that 229 or like that 230 level. 230 is going to be key, honestly. And then if it hits that 230 level, it's also going to meet VWAP. You feel me? But with that being said, watch it go up 131, 132, and then watch that 134 level. 134 is going to be key. And then going up all the way back up to that, testing that 240 level. I'm sorry, I said one. My bad. I meant 230, 240 and stuff like that, but my bad. But yeah, just to watch those levels to upside and to the downside. I will indeed look at that 228 level, 227, and then 225 is going to be key. But I don't think we're going to keep going down. But with that being said, 225 is a key level to look at. So keep that on your mind, keep that on your radar. Next one is Apple, because we have been kind of dying a little bit more. We did have a constant upward trend, but today we kind of just died down a bunch with the tariff news, and just the market sentiment is kind of low right now. But with that being said, if you want to see the stock keep going down, I think 226 and then 225 is going to be a key level to look at for Apple. Going down 224, 222, 223. So just keep those on your mind. And to the upside again, honestly, 228 and then 229, and then we're definitely looking at 230 level again to break that 230 level, and then going up to the upside, we got 232 and 233. So keep those ones on your mind and on your radar. Next one we're going to be talking about is Google, because oh my god, this was kind of unexpected, but with all the bad news we got today, it's kind of it doesn't surprise me, but we finally broke below that 190 level with Google. The thing about Google is that before the earnings came out, they've been kind of holding that 200 level, kind of dying down with the tariff news, of course, and just bad news overall. But with that being said, honestly, I wasn't expecting on it breaking that 190 level. But as you've seen before, like we broke down below that 200 level and it came back the next couple of days and kind of held above that 200 level. So I'm kind of looking at 190 as the same way. Like you might see it die down. Next week, we get some decent news and you see it come back up at least to that 190 level and maybe even breaking above even more. So keep that on your mind for Google. With that being said, next we got another play that kind of might work out. So if you guys are trading Bitcoin, I do recommend looking at IBIT. It basically is just a stock that moves with Bitcoin. But with that being said, if you scroll down, where is it at? Think so. Oh, you can buy option plays for this. And I actually played an overnight option play yesterday because Bitcoin was actually down. As you guys can see, we were down at this level. This isn't Bitcoin though. Hold on. Let me show you Bitcoin accurately. So we were down, I think it was around here. Let me check. I'm not really looking at the times accurately, but I think we were down here, and I bought an overnight call for the IBIT, which is basically EFT that moves with Bitcoin. And as you guys can see today, we opened up at around that 100K level, and I made a decent amount of money on a call option over the night. And I played a 2-week play, and that was pretty decent. And I'm kind of looking at the same play for around here because we're kind of been bouncing off that 95 level, but we might go down too. A lot of people are thinking that it's going to get down to that 90K level and maybe bouncing up. But with that being said, I do recommend looking at IBIT because you can make a bunch of money and they're pretty cheap to buy. So I just recommend looking into it. You don't have to buy it. I'm not saying buy it. I'm not telling you guys what to buy, hold, or sell, but that is one thing that I do recommend going into. With that being said, another stock that moves with Bitcoin is indeed MSTR, just because they have a huge Bitcoin holding. With that being said, I do recommend looking at MSTR and just play it based on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin's going down, it's going to go down, and if Bitcoin is going up, it's going to go up. I do recommend looking at that 320 level to get into some call options, but honestly, just wait until the downside momentum is done with Bitcoin, and also that 300 level will be key. I always point this one out, but as you guys can see, we were down at that 308 level, and literally the next day we're at 352. So if you can line up one of those plays again, you can make a parabolic amount of money. With that being said, Palantir, of course, oh my God, just constantly up, especially after earnings. And honestly, we did have a little bit of a die off today, but we literally only lost $3. So I recommend just keeping this one on your radar. I know this is that stock that a lot of people were like, oh my God, I'm going to wait to get in. I'm going to wait until it dips. And it never hit that dip. It never hit that dip, just consistently up. It never hit that dip. It was at $20. People were like, oh, I'm going to wait until it sells off a little bit. It got to $30. People said the same thing, 40, 50, 60. And now we're at that $100 level. And if you're really going to be like, oh, I'm gonna wait for that dip, it is not a good idea. Just get in. I'm not saying get in now. You can wait for a tiny dip, but I think Palantir is that one that you want to be very, very patient on. But at the same time, if you're too patient, you'll miss out. Last but not least, I do want to talk about Netflix, but just kind of point it out just because we've been maintaining that 100K level and we're at that 117, which is insane. So Netflix is climbing and consistently high. And as you guys can see, after earnings, they went up by like $200, which is insane. Or not 200, I'm sorry. It was like 130. That's like a 130 build right there. But that being said, we just been consistently strong with Netflix. I mean, who doesn't use Netflix, And they added that feature where you can't, steal people's Netflixes no more. So this is a good stock to look at too. But that being said, overall, hope you guys had a great week. Let me know what you guys are doing this weekend. Let me know you guys' goals and maybe even some plays that you guys are looking at for next week, and some of your successful plays this week. I'm glad to hear. We have a Discord link in the description. We also got some links for you guys to get some free stocks and coins. But smash the like button, subscribe if you guys are new, hit those post notifications so you guys never miss out on an upload. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.